Welcome back to Houston Newsmakers, where Errol Robinson joins the conversation. Errol is associate professor at the Barbara Jordan Mickey Leland School of Public Affairs at Texas Southern University. He was one of the authors, along with Dr. Adams, of the report, The Black Millennial, a report on millennials and voting. Very interesting report. I had a chance to look at that. What prompted that study? What made you want to do that?
Well, we were watching all the conversations on the national polling of young African Americans, and we wanted to take a look, since we're on a college campus, what were young black people in our community thinking about. And we went out and got the grant.
Yeah, we were able to get a Knight Foundation grant. And the undergirding piece of the Knight Foundation, they were really interested in terms of media, in terms of how young people were getting their information. And so that triggered a response in terms of black millennials, in terms of our perch at Texas Southern University. And we had the presidential debates on campus, and so we were able to conduct a number of focus groups.
What was the takeaway from that? What stood out as the main takeaway about that group of voters? We know that black voters in general play a big role in politics these days.
For the piece in particular, I think it's important to understand in terms of millennials in general, 1981, 1996. And for black people, there are some things that are guiding those opinions. And I think justice issues, and we've seen some of that because a lot of these kids have grown up in terms of Black Lives Matter, and I think that's been an impact on them. Income inequality is certainly impacting this particular cohort because many of them are in college, all right, and certainly tuition relief. And the other thing, the change in face, I think, of the workspace. This is the gig economy, and it's kind of different. If you talk about Medicare for all, if you're doing Uber, you may not have access to health care. So it's a different dynamic, I think. Yeah.
Well, how fascinating. Will you find anything that you didn't expect from that? What stood out from you that kind of maybe surprised you about your study?
Well, a couple of things. They're much more informed than people give them credit for, and they exercise a lot of due diligence using technology to confirm information. So this whole notion of fake news, they don't just depend on any one source.
Right.
They check.
It was just last weekend that Joe Biden won in South Carolina, a Democratic primary, an overwhelming margin in a state with a big black turnout, by the way. And depending on whose figures you look at, he won between 61 to 64% of the black vote, as many pundits have been saying. For Democrats, the black vote's been pretty critical because of they come out and they turn out. The black millennial vote, maybe not as easy to diagram in terms of what the expectation would be when it comes to voting?
Well, a lot of young people, young African-American voters, have been supportive of Bernie Sanders since the 2016 election, and they're still very interested. I think revolution and socialism doesn't scare them in the way it scares older voters. They think there really needs to be fundamental change. And when you look at the millennial report that we did, the focus group and the polling, you see that they realize there are structural changes that need to be made. And I think in large part, that's why they are at least open to a Sanders campaign. But not all young black people are for Bernie Sanders. A significant portion of them voted for Joe Biden in South Carolina and across the Super Tuesday states.
What would you hope that people would get when they read this study? What do you want the takeaway to be? Of course, the Knight folks had a certain reason they wanted to have it done. What do you hope people would see when they read your study? What do you want them to take?
I think it's an unspoken juggernaut in terms of the potential in terms of the vote. It's untapped, and candidates. If you look at Bernie Sanders, I think there's a whole lot of work that needs to be done. Certainly he did well in terms of the Hispanic community, but resonating with these millennials, and I think certainly a lot of them were feeling the burn in 2016, but the way the issues are framed, and I think we have to look at it a little different. And I think one of the quotes, if you read the piece, it talked about, oh, it took 400 years to figure out finally that Black Lives Matter. And so certainly there's a concern that resonates throughout the community in terms of young people. There is not that broad of a divide. The issues are the same, but in terms of the establishment of the parties, but we have to address these issues.
The Hispanic vote has been looked at as a real critical piece as well. It's been growing.
Yes.
At some point, one of the issues has been that while the numbers may be growing in numbers of people, the activism and actually being able to come out and vote maybe not has been as much. Have you noticed that at all? Have you look upon the differences between a black vote and maybe a Hispanic vote, or have you not touched upon that just yet?
We haven't looked at it specifically, but looking at other data, what you see is the Hispanic vote is starting to age into voting. As you get older up the scale, you vote more consistently. And what we're seeing, and we're starting to see it this election cycle, is there's that age up in the Hispanic vote. And also, I think Sanders and Biden, when you get reached out to and asked to participate, you're much more likely to participate. And we've seen, if you look at this past Tuesday, how well Hispanic surname candidates did across the state. Even if they did not win an election, they received a lot of votes.
It should be noted that Republicans are not resting on this. They understand the value of trying to get these votes as well, and are very aggressively going after the Hispanic and the black vote as well. The president has said he wants to increase his black vote up to about 20%. So that's one of the challenges he's trying to do to be able to get reelected. So thank you both for coming in. We appreciate it so much. It's a good report.
Thank you.
I'm going to put this information, a link to your report, on my Newsmakers page, if that's okay with you.
Oh, that's absolutely. And we'll send you, we're working on another one that'll come out in the next couple of weeks.
Great, great. Okay, well, send that to me. I'll put that on the link too and give everybody an update on it.